The shark is not working. We need you. The shark is not working. Anybody see Roy? The shark is not working. Let's try this again. Okay, rolling. Joe here. The boat is sinking.
Hey guys, welcome to Happy Wax TV, and this is Let's Talk Horror. And we got
Axemaster, Dr. Professor,
and
Tom Mysterio,
and me,
and the Happy Wax himself.
Yes, and so I thought, for a theme for Shark Week, what better movie to start Shark Week off with than Jaws? Even though Shark Week's almost over, but and we're going to see Jaws tonight at the Highland. They do it every every July. So I thought, you know what? Let's do Jaws as a topic tonight. So it is a classic. So we want to toast some Jaws here?
Yes. Episode, what is this? Episode 5?
5 already.
Let's talk horror.
All right, cheers.
We're almost in the double digits. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
We gotta get
Not that that's a sexual thing, but it's
No.
a reference to a film called Jaws. For anybody out there who's really sensitive.
We got to get a bigger table.
Gotta get a bigger table.
Oh shit. So, well, I don't know. I mean, there's lots to talk about this movie. The fact that it was the highest-grossing movie ever until 1977 when Star Wars came out, but up until that time, it was considered the first big summer blockbuster. And this was Steven Spielberg's second movie. I don't remember what his first one was.
We do.
Oh,
The Duel.
The Duel, yeah.
yeah. This was his. I believe this was his second movie.
Follow-up.
Yes. Oh yeah, you commented on that last time. So, who wants to start with the rambling? Anthony, I know you're itching to start, so have
Not like I always start. So it's all about you.
Lay some facts on us, Dr. Professor. All right. Well, Jaws. That's I think probably not just in my book, but
By the way, I
like
like your shirt.
I didn't even notice that.
Quince Shark Fishing,
Oh.
Amity Island.
I want
there
one
you
of
go.
those. That's awesome.
Well, amity means friendship.
Yeah.
You're the mayor of Shark Island.
Oh shit.
I think for me, it's amongst my top favorite movies. If
Absolutely.
not the top favorite movie, regardless of whatever genre that you want to put out there. I mean,
Yep.
this came out when I was just a wee little tot,
Yep.
and even when I was getting older and starting to recognize the fact, we watch this scary movie or what have you, but you realize that there were things that actually came true from the movie. It was just when you thought you were safe to go back in the water, and I remember all this stuff about people actually weren't swimming. People stopped swimming after the movie came out because it terrified people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What more could you ask from a horror movie? Actually get a physical reaction like that.
Probably no other film had that kind of physical reaction either. I mean, I don't know what else would have had it, but
Yeah, I remember. I watched a couple of years ago. I bought the anniversary edition of it, and they had that documentary on it. And it was funny to hear the studios talk about letting Steven Spielberg because he was just a new director, and it's not very very often a big studio like that will take a risk on a director like that. And I guess one of the things he doesn't. I mean, it's Steven Spielberg, right? And he's just getting started, so nobody really knew who he was. So to give him this kind of a big movie at the time.
launch.
Yeah, but the one thing that he wanted, and he wouldn't take no for an answer, or he wasn't going to do it, is he wanted it to be filmed on the ocean. I remember when they were talking about that in the documentary, that was the one thing. It was totally filmed on the Atlantic Ocean, and no movie, actually not even really a lot of movies even today are filmed. They're always done in a secured kind of, well, not even CGI, but I mean, they have such big studios now, right? Like big fish tanks and shit. But this one was done, so I mean, just the logistics and the problems that, well, I mean, there were problems. It was plagued with problems, right? So a lot of it was because of the salt water that was destroying the sharks. Yeah. So, but man, oh man, they pulled it off. And it's funny too, because when you hear them talk about it, like, they always joke about how over budget and how long it took. Like, it was like almost a year. You know, they actually filmed it. They started filming this movie before the actors were even on set, and before the shark was even finished being built. They started to film it. You know what I mean? So it was crazy how everything kind of started and it all came together. But I mean,
I like how okay. For me, this movie, first of all, had the opposite effect. I recorded this off TV on the Betamax when I was like 8 or something. The first time it came on ABC Movies, and basically, I watched that movie. I don't know how many freaking times. I could recite all the words.
Yep.
Probably still can now.
Yep.
And I became obsessed with boats, obsessed with diving.
Oh yeah.
You know, I became a diver, and I just wanted an orca. I wanted the orca. Like,
Yep.
I don't want a powerboat. I don't want a jet ski. I want a freaking trawler so I can sing "Farewell and Adieu to you, fair Spanish ladies." So I'm giving her the fault she's fucking got. But the other thing about Jaws is I love that you couldn't have got 3 fucking better guys to play in that fucking movie if you tried.
Yep.
And again, we've talked about remakes and stuff. So, like, thank God it's never going to be remade, because there's only one Quint, and it's Robert Shaw. There's only one Hooper, and it's Dennis Hopper.
Yep.
Or not Dennis Hopper. Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss.
And then of course the sheriff is Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
And like, you couldn't have got better people. Even Larry, the mayor. Like, back in those days, he was in a lot of movies, and he was always the asshole that you wanted to hate.
Murray Hamilton.
Murray Hamilton.
Yeah.
You always fucking wanted to punch Murray Hamilton in the face. So he was perfect for that fucking role.
Yeah.
But and the other thing that I really liked is, in the lore of the film, as soon as Robert Shaw walked on set, there was this. You don't look like you're a fucking actor. Between him and Richard Dreyfuss, right? Because so it was kind of like in real life.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just Robert Shaw being a character actor, adopted the role and just began to, hound Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
But Richard Dreyfuss talks about it now as like, oh, it was an honor to work with him, and he was fucking awesome. But it was like, if you talk to people, it was almost like a palpable sort of animosity between them, and it was like, and Dreyfuss was getting pushed around by this like 6 foot, 6'6" fucking guy that was like really being Quint.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's awesome. I never knew that.
There was.
Yeah.
It was like
the other thing too that I thought was really cool is the real Quint is in the Jaws movie, right? He's the guy that's I don't know what his.
They'll wish their mothers had never met their fathers when they take the bottoms out of their boat.
Exactly. That guy. I just can't remember what he's called in the movie. So, but it's pretty cool that they had
build something.
Yeah, right? The real Quint in that movie. So, but I don't know. You wanted to talk about
many things.
Yes. Well,
one of the things that's really notable about Jaws, and I don't think you can have a discussion about Jaws without mentioning this, is the music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez.
John Williams, I believe.
Yep.
And a John Williams scored film when you hear it, because it just works.
Yeah.
It just really works.
Yeah.
I remember hearing a story about the screening of Jaws when they first played it. They played it without a score, and it was like a tank with the audience.
Oh yeah.
And they came back and they had to put the music in, and then bang, it was like magic.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Like, John Williams has got like he's like the most imaginative composer of all time. It's like he puts himself into the story.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's so simple. It's like but it's like it totally feels like there's something coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, bam, he just lays it on.
Yeah. Well, that's the same with. I mean, I don't think you can have a classic movie without having some like the soundtrack or the theme to go with it. I mean, Friday the 13th has it. I can't think of it. Oh, Halloween. You know what I mean? Like certain. I mean, even Aliens has
Exorcist.
Exorcist. I mean, it's
God,
just
yeah.
you know, there's just that it has to have the right music to go with it. And this, I mean, Jaws. I mean,
Now I wonder, was this John Williams' first big film?
I don't think so. I think he's,
No? Was he around
he'd
before?
been
I don't know. I didn't.
Like he's like a Jerry Goldsmith, right? It's like every movie you watch, it's like, you know, Jerry Goldsmith movie,
Yeah.
music or whatever.
Yeah.
He was around, I think, quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how much before or after. It's like an entity. It's always there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I don't know much about him, but I do know his fucking scores are fucking fantastic. So the other thing too I liked with Steven Spielberg, and I said that this last time when you said it was one of your favorite movies, how he used the Hitchcock style filming with that Roy Schneider scene. Like, there's a lot of famous moments in Jaws.
The push pull.
Yeah, well, no, not the push pull. That's in there too. But there's also a scene when he's looking out, and it's like he's got people walking in front of him, and every time it blacks out, he's like a little bit closer to the screen. Yeah, but there is a push pull in there too, which is a Hitchcock usage too. Like, you can tell where he got, you know, his inspiration from. But it's just, man, oh man, there's so many good scenes in this movie, but it's just that one on the beach that I always remember when he's walking.
That is certainly an iconic scene. Like that's one that always it flashes in my head just as it flashes.
And of course, like the Kittner boy. That's when the Kittner boy buys it.
Yeah.
And the like really, you know, the beautiful thing about Jaws is, thank God that Bruce the Shark did malfunction so much, because it took him out of the film more, and it made the ominous unknown is actually a character in the film as well, because it's like, you know, you see the shark roll, and you know what it is when the Kittner boy goes down and you know the blood sprays up, and that's really the first kind of big time, holy fuck, there's a shark, you know, scene, other than, you know, the opening scene, but and the chick getting, you know, the swimmer getting ripped around. But I mean, the fact that Brucey broke down so much made it more scary, more eerie. And then, you know, I mean, it's all practical effects, right? There's not too much mechanized shit going on.
No.
And
you mentioned the swimmer, that mechanism that dragged her through the water and everything. That actually broke some of her ribs.
Oh, really?
A rib or some of her ribs.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So, and almost really drowned her, I believe. Was the thing. So yeah.
the things we do for movie stars.
Well, I mean, yeah. Like,
movie star.
think about it though. There was a lot in this movie being used that had never been used before. I mean, that apparatus throwing somebody around, I don't think that's probably the first time that's been used. The shark itself, I don't think there was any shark movies before that were, you know what I mean? And even the boat, because there was a couple different versions of the boat, right? Like one that was made to sink and then come back up again. And we're talking in the Atlantic Ocean too. It wasn't like, mind you, it was in Martha's Vineyard, so I think it was a lot shallower, they said, so they didn't, you know, they weren't like 100 feet down or whatever. But even still, I mean, and it was also cool too that he wanted it always to be turned outwards, never inwards, so you couldn't see how close they were to the shore.
Yeah,
which was cool too.
Yeah, that was part of the photography. If you watch the movie, you almost never see land. I thought I saw one section where you see a real skinny little black line with a bit of stuff on the horizon, but that was that was certainly I believe the effect was there to show the isolation, you know, because if you're like, oh well, there's just land there, that just blows the whole blows the whole effect right there.
The other thing that was cool too is when they filmed the actual, like, the real sharks, you know, in the cage and stuff, how they had a midget. Is that a midget in the cage? Is that proper terminology now? Just little people? I don't know how they're called. Yeah, so but they had like a little person in the cage to make the real shark look even bigger, and it worked. I mean, it's you know, it was just, there was a lot of good things they
classic less is more. I mean, you never really see a whole lot until Quint buys it, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
or the Kittner boy was just a blood fountain.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it was full of gore or full of, you know, the arm. You didn't even really see the swimmer. You just saw the arm come up, you know, and it was more less is more, and so that it makes the ending all that much more shocking when Quint's buying it, and the classic midriff explosive bite there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a great film.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Yeah.
Oh, that's like the saddest movie kill.
I know. You don't want him to go.
No, because he's such a powerful character.
Yeah. Robert Shaw, didn't he die very shortly after making
He
this
died
movie
in like
too?
1982, I think. He was very young. He was like 53 years old or something.
Yeah, so it was like less than 10 years. That's too bad.
Well, it wasn't shark related though.
No.
He got Guns in Navarone. Wasn't it Guns in Navarone? He was in that.
Yeah.
Or no, Force 10 from Navarone with Harrison Ford in before he
Oh,
died.
yeah.
He was in that. And
Yeah.
So.
It's again, I said this before too. It was cool how they used like almost all the, well, other than the main cast, like all the background and it was all like the people that lived there, which was cool too. So I don't think that's ever been done before. Like it probably has now, but back in the day.
I wonder if Harry, the old guy with the that's one bad hat.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if he was one of the locals.
I don't know. Probably.
190-year-old guy swimming in the water.
Yep. Even the lady who
Mrs. Kidner.
yeah, she was a local too. You know what I mean? Like she had never acted before. The lady Brody's secretary was a local. I mean, everyone in the room when Quint comes in, they were all except for like the main stars. But it was
That's a
cool.
great scene.
Oh yeah.
At the town hall meeting. Once again,
Yeah.
I think the movie is comprised of just so many just defining scenes like that one. Like you can almost say, "Oh, remember that part?" Like,
Yep.
when you think about some movies today, you're like, "Oh, you don't get it. Like I don't get that same excitement." Oh, do you remember that part?
Yeah.
Because it was so.
That's
the
the other
had
thing.
Such an impact.
That's the other thing I was thinking about too when I was driving home today. I was thinking about what to talk about and stuff, and I was like, it came out at the right time too, because there was no such thing as CGI at that time, and I mean, I don't think that this movie would not be a classic if it was made today. I don't think because it'd have CGI, it wouldn't have the same impact. Like there's been a lot of shark movies, like a lot of good shark movies, like the 47 meters down.
Yeah.
And Shallow Reef or no, what's
The Shallows.
The Shallows.
That's a great movie.
It is.
The Shallows is a
but
great
it'll
movie.
never be considered a classic. You know what I mean?
no.
It just.
I saw something that said the best shark movie that's not Jaws.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it took a long time for people to make shark movies after Jaws because it was just like, wow,
And I mean, yeah, like there has been a few good ones, but still, I mean, there's nothing that really. Like if Jaws is a 10, I think in my eyes, anyways, the closest movie that's ever come to it is probably like a 6.5. Like nothing's even come, because I like Jaws too because whenever I watch it, I always find, I know every movie has a first, second, and third act, but Jaws to me has two different stories, right? It has the like inland story or on the shore, and then it's a whole different story when they go out on the boat. It's like they've taken two separate stories, and that's the other thing too. If it was made nowadays, they'd probably go for the cash and make two fucking stories. Do you know what I mean? But it's just got two different stories in it, and it works and it blends, and I mean you never really get bored at all. It's just, you know what I mean? Like the action, even when there is no action, I mean the dialogue and the acting is so good, it just keeps you wanting more. But I don't know, man, I can't get enough of this flick. And it's sad too because every year they do the same fucking thing. So Vic will show it at the Highland like he's doing tonight, right? But literally a month lead up, I swear to God, every time I turn on AMC, it's
Jaws
on
is
that,
on.
and I don't want to watch it because like I've seen it over 100 times, easily over 100 times. Do you know what I mean? And I know exactly, just like you. I mean, we can recite words and everything, but it's just that lead up to seeing it on the big screen because you don't get to do that very often. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to cheapen it and watch it on the fucking TV. You know what I mean? Even though I've seen it 1,000 times, but it's just that lead up to tonight where you're gonna see it on a big screen, and it's just so I've got it, so I'm like, damn it, I can't watch it, so I flip it off. You know what I mean? It's like, even though I want to watch it. And then even when I was in Mississippi, Sophia's like, oh, let's watch Shark Week. What do they start Shark Week off with? Fucking Jaws. I'm like, God damn
It
it.
ain't gonna be Deep Blue Sea.
No, so I'm like, God damn it. You know what I mean? And I can't tell her to change the channel, so I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to edit a video and put my headphones on and pretend not to watch it. So I just, because it's just all the lead up to tonight. So it's just, the less you see it before you go, the more newer it seems. So, but I don't know. You wanted to talk about
Couple things.
Yes.
Many things.
Many things. Just have at it.
A plethora of things. When you were just speaking about or mentioning, the duality where there's the inland story and then the at sea story, I find, I'll throw this out there as what I think is the most compelling part of the actual movie is the scene when they're out there. It's the first night on the Orca, and the three of them are down below, and they're sitting around the table drinking.
Oh yeah.
And then they start comparing scars.
Yeah.
Marilyn Muffet. She broke my heart.
See this one here? And then it goes from that really lighthearted and them having a good time to that very serious story where Quint's talking about his experience on the USS Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that scene is just like, I don't know, it solidifies the movie in a way that...
Because he's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he could have sat and narrated a fucking movie about the Indianapolis because he just had a great way of delivering it.
Yeah.
You know?
If I remember correctly, too, probably maybe getting it a bit wrong, but okay, so I think, okay, so how that worked is they did 2 days to shoot that scene, right? So the first day they did it, he was drunk and he kept fucking it up, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he didn't say it the way... I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard this when I was watching one of the documentaries. But so they shot it the first time, and he was never happy with it because he was drunk, and Spielberg said, blah, 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 do this. So he said, give me one more chance. Let me go home tonight, and I'll write it out. So that's what he did, is he wrote a whole new speech, and then he came back the next time, and that was it, and that was one take. Or no, I think what they did is they did it in one take, and they pieced some of it together. That's what it was. So you can, if you watch it, and we'll watch it tonight, you'll see his eyes in some scenes are bloodshot, and other scenes they're not, because they took some of his drunk talk and then they cut it with his regular talk. That's what it was.
Yeah,
so,
he was apparently quite the drinker.
Yeah.
Too, like fucking every day, drinking all the time.
Yeah, so that's that's when I watched the one of the documentaries on it. That's what they were saying, that the speech was so awesome that they didn't want to, but he was never happy with it. So he'd like stop halfway through or whatever, and then because he was kind of drunk, so then Spielberg kind of gave him shit, I think, or whatever you can do to Robert Shaw, I don't know, whatever. So then he went home and rewrote it, and then so they pieced the 2 days together. So that was it. So they always say you can look at his eyes, and some scenes are bloodshot, and other ones they're just normal. So that's cool. But that is a great scene, you know what I mean? And it's just, I mean, again, it goes back to a movie that has so many fucking memorable
so
moments.
many great scenes. It's like the best rock albums. There's not one bad song on it.
Yeah.
This film doesn't have a bad scene. Like, there's not a memorable scene. The scene where the kids are playing with fucking with the Coast Guard and the fake
the
shark fin, and I mean, the story around the table. Yep. The scene where he first meets Hooper and he's like, show me your hands, and all that kind of stuff. He's like ripping his hands. You got city hands, been cutting money all your life. The scene where they go out on Hooper's boat.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, that was a
and
great
they find
one.
the shark tooth, right?
Yeah. That was a surprise scare for Richard Dreyfuss, apparently.
Oh, really?
Because they apparently sent him in. He's like, all right, just go dive in, and you're gonna find a tooth or whatever.
Yep.
That they didn't tell him that
there was a head in there.
Yeah, that they were gonna pop a head. So.
That was filmed after the fact. That was filmed after too.
In a pool.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I'll tell you, and I've said this story on the show a few times. I saw Jaws at the drive-in with my parents when I was, I don't know how old I was, like 4 or 5, I don't know. And my parents went to the drive-in and they thought I'd be asleep in the back of the. Actually, what was my dad's old car? It was the Beaumont. I think it was the Beaumont that he had, the red car. And anyways, I was awake and I was kind of like behind the seat watching it. And from what I remember, anyways, I do remember screaming, like crying so much after that head scene popped out, and I wouldn't stop. And my dad got so pissed off because I wouldn't stop crying that he got pissed off and left and went home. So he didn't get to see Jaws at the drive-in. But I was lucky enough to say that I saw the actual release as I was a fucking little kid. How old would I have been? It came out in 1975.
Yeah.
So I would have been like four. Yeah. So, but I remember that scene because. My dad would always bring it up and we'd have talks about horror movies and stuff, but he's like, yeah, I remember that. You made me miss Jaws. So I don't think he ever went and saw it again either. So it's
well, it's been on TV 100 times.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure you got caught up with it.
Yep, but anyways. All right, well, I don't know. Did you wanted to say something else too about the...
Peter Benchley.
Yeah.
So, once again, I can't reference where the actual story came from, but I remember hearing story about this one. So there's a funny thing that happens when you and I can't attest for this myself. When you're an artist or a musician or a writer and you come out with a hit, you do something and people they attach your name to it. Peter Benchley did the novel for Jaws,
Yep.
which then became the movie Jaws, which became this crazy sensation
Yep.
and fantastic movie. But from what I've heard, is he was plagued with trying to write another Jaws, and from there forth, he never really
Just couldn't find it.
because there was so much pressure. I mean, like, how can you?
Yeah.
He came up with such a novel that became such a thing. So I feel bad in that sense.
Well,
you know, like,
true, but to that I say, at least he came up with one.
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's probably one of, if not, well, I can't say it's the greatest movie of all time, but it's got to be in the
I
top.
can.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It probably is for everything that it accomplished.
Yeah, there's some guys that write, like, I mean, Stephen King's got a billion movies. Some of them suck, some of them are awesome. But the guy that wrote Rambo, David something Morrell, or I can't remember exactly what his name is, but I mean, really, he's written lots of books, but the Rambo ones are what made his bread and butter. You know, so I mean, good on you, Peter Benchley. You know, who cares what they did with the ending? You know, if you liked it or not, right? It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
But,
so no, that's awesome. So, okay, we want to wrap it up. We're getting close to the end here, I think. So, all right. So there it is. So, couple things. We're just getting done talking about Jaws now. We're gonna go see Jaws tonight, as we do every year. And as in July, if you put on TV, it's going to be on some channel. So, and then I just wanted to say too, we're this close to 600 subscribers now. So this close. So if you're watching this and you want to do us a huge favor, hit that sub button, because it would be nice to hit the 600 mark in the next, by maybe the end of next week. So that would be awesome. So, but yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any closing comments on the movie Jaws? Yeah. Do you want to sing this one out? No.
y'all know me.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I do for a living. I'll catch this bird for you, but it won't be easy. And I value my skin a lot more than $5,000, Chief. $3,000. Fuck! I fucked
God
it up.
damn it! Oh, well. It's a classic. Yeah, classic movie, classic lines.
Yeah. Now he'd probably charge $25,000 now.
Probably like $100,000.
You want to get your name in the National Geographic, do you? Oh fuck! I love that movie, so I can't wait. So, anyways, guys, okay. So Jaws, leave us your comments down below what you think about this movie. Have you seen it 100 times like we have? So, can you recite every line like we can? Fucking love this movie. So, anyways, guys, that's it. Just quickly too. I think I said this in the last video and I dropped the ball, but I'm gonna start doing this for sure. We're going to post these videos so we have a schedule every Sunday and every Tuesday. So I will make sure that happens from here on in. So just so you know when to tune in to Let's Talk Horror. So, and then everything else comes out randomly. So, but yeah, so we're this close, 600 subscribers. And yeah, Jaws. And until next time,
Stay
stay scared.